And we are live. You're watching RNN live. I'm your host, Russian Outlaw. Now I'm going to have my guests introduce themselves. So start with Mickey first.
I'm guessing you mean me. I'm Scooby331. New York native, born and raised. Wade through this cesspool daily to try to cover everything that the news tries to sweep under the rug.
Okay. And sir?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sir Conservatarian. I'm there, here, I'm everywhere. I'm the richest hobo in the world, just so you know.
All right. Satirical?
I'm Satirical Cap. Missouri born and raised. And I'm an ANCAP. I just talk a bunch of shit.
All right. Now Ferg?
I'm Ferg. I do stuff on the internet sometimes.
All right. Now, if you guys can't already tell by the title of this live stream, it's going to be on Lauren Southern and her detention and not being able to go into the UK. So would anyone, does everyone know exactly what happened? Does everyone know of this or what happened?
She shit posted so hard that she ended up getting banned from the UK.
Yeah. Does anyone not know of this? You got, okay, I guess. All right. So, what are your guys' views on it?
Well, obviously it's an overreach. It's I don't want to sit here and start throwing around terms like miscarriage of justice or anything and try to sound like some armchair rainmaker, but I really don't see any cause or grounds for this other than severe pearl clutching with one hand and virtue signaling with the other. I mean, it's just an embarrassment for the British people as a whole. I feel bad for them, if anything. This is such a faux pas. That's the only thing I can really say about this, other than the fact it's just an unfortunate and embarrassing mistake that they didn't seem to do once, but twice. So I'm at a loss.
I would say that it's Orwellian. I say that because we had Brittany, where she was arrested for pre-thought. That was something that completely caught me off guard. And now we have Lauren Southern, which they consider her a terrorist. I just think, oh my God, she's done nothing wrong. Like I say that ironically as a joke in most cases, but she's literally done nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, technically speaking, you going into the country is a privilege because the country doesn't have to accept you from a technical standpoint. But the fact they're doing this based on the grounds that they think that she's a terrorist is just absolutely Orwellian, in my opinion.
I mean, anyone who thinks this girl is an actual terrorist needs to check themselves because she's what, 90 pounds wet?
Wait, what?
She's like 90 pounds wet. What's she gonna do? And she's a Canadian. The most she'll do is say sorry so much that the world ends.
I mean,
well, I got a few things to say about these motherfucking British people. Jesus God. Okay, first they have no speech over there. They claim a little bit of free speech, but give me a fucking break. You're a right-winger. You don't have free speech. It's lucky they're not rounding them up and putting them in camps by now. And the only reason they can't do that is probably because of how the political tide changed in this last 2016. But the audacity you have to arrest Lauren Southern on grounds of terrorism when you let these fucking Muslim shitlords into your country every day without questioning, when you know they objectively follow an ideology that tells them to do horrible things that are just not compatible with the West. I like that term, virtue signaling. They're like, oh, look, see, we treat white people with scrutiny. You know, it's not just the Muslims that we interview to make sure they're okay in our countries. It's so this is marking I'm not gonna say the end, but you can freaking tell that if they keep on this path of not respecting basic freedoms and not respecting their citizen population, not their population, but more the ideas that Britain stands on. Actually, all of the ideas Britain's supposed to stand on, they're giving those away. And they're giving them away simply to virtue signal. The whole situation's disgusting, and it was a long time coming. But this is good because it brings attention. And every British person I watched on this subject was thoroughly embarrassed.
Yep.
My question is, though, now this is the crux of it. Was this an actual mandate handed down by the British government, or was this like what we are famous for here in America? Was this like a breakdown of intercommunication between agencies? In other words, were they detaining these people over something that was possibly a memo that had gone through, or maybe an order or mandate that had been dismissed by other departments and they hadn't gotten it yet, or things of that nature? These are just queries that I have, actually, because I'm curious as to what was actually the cause of this. Was it actually like something that was, okay, you have to detain these people? Or was it, why did you detain these people? Well, we kind of thought we had to. You know, was it one of those situations?
I mean, I don't know, because I watched the interview that she had with Sargon, and they asked her very specific questions like, "Are you religious? What are your views on terrorist attacks via trucks?" Which, the truck of peace, essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But
Against
again,
Muslims.
how much of this is actual overreach, though, of that department, and how much of it is coming from up higher than the department? That's the question of the day.
During the conference, they made it sound like the police were just there doing their jobs, taking orders from above. Now, what it came from above. Now, whether or not that was miscommunication from above or actual malevolence from above, I don't know, and I can't tell that until there's more evidence, I think.
Right. That's the only. I mean, I'm as appalled as a journalist. I'm as appalled as anybody about this. But again, as a journalist who's dealt with things here in New York, especially since we have had 9/11, I've dealt with the blundering of dealing with multiple hands in one pot, as it were. So again, I'd like to really see how far this goes up, because it might be one specific person in a department who just has a wild hair up their ass, and they might be operating under their own auspice. That it might not be getting to the heads above them. People like their superiors might not be aware that they have put out this mandate. So again, I agree with you that this is a very good thing that it shines light on this. But until it develops a little bit further and we get more information, I can't really pass any judgment.
Yeah.
It sucks. I hate to come and piss in the punch bowl like that, but
I mean, you're right.
That's so New York, I can already tell.
Yeah. Individuals make up organizations, so there's no way to tell if that's coming from one specific individual or it's coming from, an actual political leaning policy.
Yeah.
No matter what, no matter how you dice it, or you slice or dice it, to me, it still just feels Orwellian.
Oh, it is. It is. But again, I hope it's just some small cabal of imbeciles. I don't like to use the term conspiracy because of how it's been besmirched, especially in our parlance in the past 20 years. But I'm thinking like a bunch of idiots that work together, co-workers. Like, yeah, you know what? Let's do it this way. We're going to tighten it up, and we're going to do. And just what the hell are you doing? Seriously, why would you guys do this? So hopefully it gets found out. I really do hope so, because again, I stream with a lot of Brits, and I'm really hoping that it's not as bad as it looks to us. I'm hoping that it's just overblown and it's not that bad. I'm being optimistic here.
I mean, with two people, and one of them was pre-crime, one of them was just because of shit posting. I mean, with Brittany Pettibone, that could have caused an international incident.
Agreed.
Like if it was handled the wrong way, it could have caused an international incident. And this needs to be figured out before it reaches that level.
Can I ask, was this the same department or different departments within Britain?
Same department.
Okay. So there's that's one thing that we have going. It's the one department that is involved in both of these arrests. Okay, where's the department located? What part of Britain?
I'm not entirely sure. All I know is it's their version of Immigrations and Customs. I think it's the Office of Home Secretary, I think.
Okay, so this isn't even Scotland Yard proper. This is one of the subdivisions, like one of their alphabet agencies like we have over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're looking at a bureaucratic fuck-up, guys.
Well,
They've adopted so much of our infrastructure policies over here. Now they're starting to adopt our mistakes. I'm hoping.
Well,
I mean,
it'd be one thing if this was an isolated incident, but it's not. You can couple this with the other people they kept out of their country. You can couple it with the shit they've done to Tommy Robinson and other right wingers. Didn't they just they arrested that dude that made his dog do the funny ass Hitler sign, right?
Count Dankula, yeah.
Yeah, once you combine all those instances, it wouldn't be completely absurd to go ahead and assume malevolence here. It wouldn't be quite accurate necessarily, but I can see why people do that.
yeah.
Bureaucratic fuck up. It's hard for me to think of that as a fuck up. I mean, come on. It's clear what they do to right wingers in that country. They slander them as far right, even if they're just a little bit right, or if they're libertarian like Sargon. It's disgusting.
Yeah, and to me, basically, it's at this point where if you're anything left or anything right of Marx or anything right of what they consider to be left wing over there, because you got to remember it's different. Then suddenly you're as bad as Hitler. Which I wish I was exaggerating. I wish that I was joking, but no, they legitimately think that. To them, nationalism is a right-wing thing, and to be fair, it is. And they see nationalism as being fascistic.
Yes and no. The traditionally nationalism might be considered right-wing. However, you can be nationalistic on either side. Just nationalism has to do with more like having a sort of pride for your country. Yes.
Yeah, like the Scottish Independence Party.
Yeah, that's how I see it. Traditionally, it's that's why I say nationalism is traditionally right wing. That's what I was trying to say. So thank you for the correction. Yeah. If you show any nationalism, then suddenly you're a racist and you're a bigot and a xenophobe. To which I just think, okay, if you want to see xenophobia, if you want to see bigotry, then go to the Middle East or go anywhere in Africa. I guarantee
Japan
you.
is a perfect example.
Japan?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They're extremely xenophobic.
And here's the thing: is that when it comes to them, I think, well, when you look at us and when you look at what happened with Logan Paul, yeah. I can see why. I'm not saying it's a good reason. I'm not saying it's a good argument, but yeah, you can see why. Like, why the fuck do we want these people?
I live there, and a lot of their shit is unnecessary hysteria. Like a Marine would go out in town and do one bad thing, and they would label all of us military, and they would send protesters over from mainland. The only thing they got right is the Islam thing, and they did that on accident with their xenophobia because they're actually keeping them out because of their ideas. But I think it's more on accident because they are a very nationalistic country. But what weighs that out is their culture of morality and decency. So it's
the Japanese.
Yeah, it's just a different place over there.
Yeah, to me, when it comes to Japan specifically, I've always found them to be unusual. unusual and interesting at the same time. Because you have to respect where they come from. And again, I see nationalism as a good thing. Like this is even as an American. When I went to Europe, when I came across a French person, like I think, have you no backbone for your country? Have you no pride? I'm sorry, my nose is plugged up.
How's that nationalism? Pride in your country? I don't get how that's nationalism.
To me, it would just be common sense, but I guess the left at this point, anything that's positive has to have a label.
Okay, let me better explain. Pride isn't in the sense that you're happy with what your country has achieved. You're happy with what your ancestors have done in the past, and what your country provides you.
If I also may add on to that, it's also with the wanting your country to be better than all others, putting your country first before other countries.
So like patriotism and
yes,
because they've been talking about nationalism so long, bitching on YouTube the past couple months. It's fucking annoying. But basically, that has a color connotation to it. So that's what I was thinking.
I mean, like a colored connotation. You mean like race?
Yeah.
From my memory, I don't recall nationalism being in relations to race. Now, if we're talking about white nationalism, then yeah, I can understand that. But to me, I use the terms nationalism, patriotism interchangeably.
Well, let's put it this way: you go up to a BuzzFeed journalist, quote unquote,
yeah, quote unquote,
and you tell them you're a nationalist. What are they going to conclude?
That you're a white nationalist.
Yeah, you're a fucking white male.
Yeah, and all I'm saying is we've been submerged in that mindset for so long and force-fed that's basically the reality now, unfortunately.
You know, I actually got interviewed by the Huffington Post in D.C. Last September. Myself and Voice of Burnside. They stopped us at Moore. We basically gave them an earful as somebody from Chicago and New York. We told them. I was actually just looking for the gentleman's business card. I can't find it anywhere. But we told them basically what they're doing with the gender, that they're pushing all of the gender nonsense and they're pushing all of this racial nonsense. I said, what you're doing now, I said, is what happened about 100 years ago. They had this shit called phrenology, where they would run around with these big forceps and they would check the shape of your skull. And by checking the shape of your skull, they'd figure out what type of profession you should have done, where you hailed from in the world, what your heritage was, all that sort of thing. I said, it's utter horseshit. I said, so you're about 10 years out from finding out that everything you're working on for the Huffington Post is utter horseshit. So I'm just letting you know this now. I said, so you can brace yourself accordingly.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I would love to talk to those assholes.
You should have seen I wasn't as kind to the woman from the New York Times.
Whoa! I'm curious. Now I'm curious.
You can actually look if you look on YouTube. Start looking up more footage. You can't miss me and Burnside. Burnside's dressed in like this. If you look on our streams, he actually is dressed like his avatar. It kind of put people off a little bit when we showed up. But yeah,
can you can't miss the video?
The two of us. I can do it afterwards, just because I'm on a really piece of shit computer and I can't. I can only have one thing open at a time. So with Hangouts open, I can't open anything else, or I'll start to lag and robot and have to hop in and out. But I'll send it to Rational Outlaw in my Discord, and he can definitely send it to all you guys. But yeah, she started questioning us, and now I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but if you ever seen me in person, I'm about the same size as Dwayne Johnson, and I was dressed really outlandish that day. I'm kind of hard to miss. She actually approached me 3 times because she forgot talking to me. This is so I told her this. By the 3rd time she came up and talked to me, I said, this is the 3rd interview you're giving me. Oh, it is? I said, this is the problem that the rest of the country has with New Yorkers. I said this as a New Yorker. I said, you people give us a bad reputation. I said, you're walking around here aloof. I said, everyone's here for the country, but you act like they're all here for you. I said, you got some hair on you, honey. And she should have seen how big her eyes got.
That moment you realize you're not the center of the universe.
Yeah. Look, you know what it is? I'm a little bit older than you guys. I'm 30. I'm going to be 39 in the beginning of the month. I honestly don't give a shit about these people anymore. I worked for New York State since the 90s. Chuck Schumer was my boss's boss's boss. That son of a bitch used to snap his fingers at us. He used to snap it when he wanted something done. He'd go like this. Boy, Mr. Schumer, my name isn't Boy. I don't care. Move this table. So
Wow.
yeah, I've dealt with this shit, guys, since the 90s. I am done. I am through with these people. They're trying to ruin this country. They can all collectively go fuck their hand till it's familiar. I love my country. Screw these people.
I'm sorry,
Seriously.
what did I miss? I was gone for a bit.
I was just Democrats. You missed me bitching about Democrats.
I just got a patriotism boner.
To me, you just. I'm sorry, but you just sound so New Yorker to me.
I am, man. If I go stand on my roof during the day, you know, when it's I actually could probably see it right now. Duh, it's lit really well. I could see Manhattan up on my roof, but yeah, I've lived here my whole life.
Hey man, congrats. I know I wouldn't be able to survive. Then again, I wasn't raised. I was raised somewhere else. To me, I'm what I would do is, and I've actually had to talk to a few of these sorts of people. I've had to talk with someone saying that, oh well, trans people should be allowed in the military. To which I think, oh my fucking god, fuck the trannies. like that sounds bad, but hear me out. Why would I want someone with a mental and biological disorder to be serving in the military? If your hormones are going to be the reason why you cannot carry me when I'm shot from point A to point B, why would I trust you?
Mm-hmm.
Also, when it comes to when people say, well, non-combat related services in the military, still, I do not want someone not mentally there, mentally confused about their sex. To like you're the military is not a place and time for you to explore yourself sexually. No, you do that outside of the military. I'm just no, I don't want to hear it. And this is what I told one woman, Madam. Do you realize that if we allow this sort of behavior, if we allow this, we put our soldiers, we put ourselves at great risk. There are reasons why these things exist in the military. Not all of them may exist for a good reason, but they exist for a reason. For example, if you have asthma and you want to join the Navy, do you think that's gonna mix well? No, it isn't. It just ain't gonna work. Are you gonna bitch and complain that, oh well, they're not allowing me to join the Navy because I have asthma?
Or if you have flat feet, or what was it? Flat feet they don't like either for the military.
And high arches. High arches and fallen arches. You have to have, I think it's a 45-degree slope to the arch of your foot.
Yeah, and here's the thing is that I'm an athletic swimmer. Chances are I'm going to be in there doing fabulous compared to other normies that don't swim. Like, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but that's the truth of the matter. I've been swimming for 14 and a half years.
I hate to burst your bubble, but in Navy boot camp, we swim to the end of the pool, and then we tread water, and that's it.
Oh, really? That's it?
Yep.
Dude, that sounds so easy for me.
And they still fell.
Really? Oh my god.
And every stereotype that you heard about black people swimming unfolds right in front of you, and you feel racist for about 3 seconds.
You know what's the fucked up part is that I'm a Mexican descent, so me swimming wouldn't be too much out of the norm.
Oh Lord!
But wait, you're in the Navy, dude?
I was a hospital corpsman for 5 years. I'm not in anymore.
Oh well, do you mind? I'm gonna
very cool.
I actually have a few questions.
Service.
Thanks for your support.
Yeah, dude. I actually have a few questions. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions in relation to the military?
If Rationale's okay with it, it's his stream. I don't know.
Like not on stream, but like in private.
Oh yeah, sure.
Do
Anytime.
do you have like a Discord, a Twitter? I message you on.
Yeah, I'll send it in the side chat.
Oh, thanks, because I have a few questions.
All
But
right.
yes, anyways, back to what I was saying to this woman. I told her, "Madam, we can, like it like if you say that, oh, we support, I support the troops, but yet you want this, you do a disservice to them because now you're putting them at a greater risk of dying. Because if your hormones are going to be the reasons why you cannot help someone, then frankly, you're a bad person. And oh my God, you look so beautiful. Like I just didn't want to hear it from that woman.
Mhm.
And she tried telling me like, oh well, I don't see you signing up. I don't see you in the military. I told her, madam, I'm still in high school. How can I be in high school and in the military at the same time? I want to join the military. I want to join the Navy. I'm swimming so I can get myself in shape so I can swim better. Like mind you,
Yeah,
I had to temporarily retire from my swimming because I ended up injuring both my shoulders. I came back and performed better than ever.
you could also handle it the way I handle it. I started recently rematriculating back at a college out here in New York. And the reason for that is I got injured working for New York State, but I didn't wind up in a wheelchair, so the judge decided I can go back to work. And New York State will not pay me any of my compensation owed to me until I go back to work to show that I have complied with the judge's ruling. The problem is, everywhere I go, they tell me New York State won't insure me due to my injury. So I won't get paid from comp until I go back to work, but New York State won't let me go back to work because I'm an insurance risk, so I can't get money from comp until I go back to work, but I can't get money from work because I'm an insurance risk.
Yes,
So
that's quite the predicament.
but here's the beauty of it. New York State is such a shithole that they'll give me everything if I go back to college. So after I went through the past 4 years of, and I love telling people this, of all this shit since that big-eared scumbag Obama did his thing with DACA, my name is Spanish. And it is the most common Spanish name amongst El Salvadorians between the age of 18 and 46.
Oh God.
There are 45,000 undocumented illegals with my full name living within New York and New Jersey.
Oh God.
I get mail in Spanish. I get mail in Portuguese. I have been trying for 5 years to get back into college. I finally got back this year because I had to get citizen representative advocates involved, and they're arguing with the woman. She's like, he's 17 and he's from Argentina, and they're like, no, he's 39 and he's from Queens originally. I said, no, I have his paperwork right here. They had linked about 16 different people just into one college to my name because they all have the same name as me and no social security.
That's got to be a bitch.
Yeah, it is. It is. But now I've finally gotten back onto the campus. So I have run into the same thing that you're talking about with a lot of these, I'll call them what they are, communists, walking around the campus. And I love telling them this because they start bitching about, our beloved president pulling the trans band out from underneath their leftist feet. And I explained to them very calmly, Obama was a douchebag. He was a big flaming fucking pyre of douche. Now, what he did was what every filthy Democrat has done since they've gotten into office. You see, what I remember from when I was very little, my father used to talk about what Carter did. Carter had enrolled this thing where he was going to give all these benefits to the blacks to really bolster the black numbers into the service. That was because when they decided they were going to do whatever, they were going to try to use that to get rid of the blacks. Clinton did the same thing with the Mexicans. Now Obama did this thing with the trans. It's whatever group of people they decide at that point in time there's too many of them and they want to thin the herd, they give incentives and stipends to get people to enlist, and then they go and start some trouble with some country. This is what they do. It's thinning the herd. It's what the Democrats do. They're a bunch of evil bastards. So whenever they talk to you about the trans thing, you tell people Trump did the best thing for the trans community. He saved them from being slaughtered by the Democrats. They don't like to hear that.
Yeah, to me, like I'm at this point now where I'm registered as a Republican.
Mm-hmm.
Though I don't really consider myself one. If I had a third option, I would have put down something else. But I chose Republican because in my state you have to be a Republican in order to vote Republican. Which
Same here in New York.
Yeah, so yeah, to me, when it comes to when it comes to stuff like that, I just really hate how Democrats, and don't get me wrong, this happens with Republicans, but this definitely happens more often with the Democrats. They use a certain group, and once they're done using them, they just throw them away like trash. Never to.
That's the trick. That's the trick. They don't. I'll tell you the secret. Right now. All right, gather around, boys, and get out your notepads. This is the trick. This is what the Democrats do, these dirty bastards. All right, what the Democrats have been doing for years is utilizing the Catholic Church. Every group that has come in that they have used, at least here in New York. I don't know about the rest of the country. I don't really look into it, but here in New York, and every group that has been a point of contention, save for the blacks, mind you, save for the black folks. I'm talking since the Civil War, when we took the blacks away from them, and they were like, "Oh shit, what are we gonna do?" Before they figured out that they could turn around in the 60s and, oh, wait a minute, we can just advocate for the blacks like we've been advocating for these other people. And the other people they were advocating for were Catholics. The first wave to come in were the Irish. Then you had the Italians, and a little bit later on when the famine hit, you got the Sicilians and a little bit of the Southern Europeans, all Catholics. Then you had the First World War, and you had refugees coming in. These were also Catholics. Then you had the Second World War, and you had more Catholics coming in, all from different parts of Europe. When that started to dry up, Ted Kennedy, that fat Irish fuck, he turned around and did that thing of his. Then we started getting all these South Americans coming in. Once again, Catholics. If you noticed, when Trump went and ripped into that evil harpy at that dinner that they were having up here in New York, it was that Catholic Monsignor. What was that Irishman's name? I forget his name. That prick. He got up and he was sitting there running his mouth. Look to the Catholics. Every one of these quote-unquote ethnic Democrats that gets up and roars, they're all tied to the Catholic Church. That's where the point of contention is. The church and the Democrats are intertwined. I say this as somebody who was raised as an altar boy.
To me, I actually know a Catholic, and I actually used to be Catholic, believe it or not.
I'm actually Catholic myself.
Oh God, this makes it even worse.
So you know what I'm talking about.
I actually do.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. I actually have the Catholic I know is also
I actually disagree heavily with the church in general, so
my question to you then would be this: if you disagree with the church, then why are you Catholic?
The brainwashing. I don't mean to put the words in your mouth, but I'm guessing the brainwashing, correct?
No, I was born and raised. I believe in all the communion and stuff like that. The stuff I don't believe in is when they do try to ram it down your throat and a bunch of other stuff. But I do know what you're talking about, how the Irish were Catholic, the Mexicans are Catholic, all that. I know what you're talking about.
So, deism. Well, not deism, because I'm a deist, which that's a conversation for a different day. But yeah, to me,
it has nothing to do with the religion itself. It has to do with the structure of the Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Catholic Church it always has been historically a tool of oppression, a tool of control, a tool of supplication. I mean, you can latch on anything not nice to the Catholic Church, but it was basically a thumb being pushed down on the populace. That's really good if you want to control people. So you have a built-in control mechanism, and you are in a country full of Protestants who literally want to skin you when you get here. Who better to exploit? You have a population that's built in to be controlled, that needs to be protected. It's pretty much it writes itself.
I mean, it's the what I would call the political sleight of hand, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to me, oh my God, like that's one of the reasons why like I didn't know the Irish, the Italian, but I didn't know the Mexican thing because well, I have Mexican in my blood. One of the reasons why I chose why I converted from a Catholic to a Christian is because one, I just didn't like the idea of me having to go to church. Two, I was actually went to a Christian school, a Christian private school, because the Catholic private school that my mom originally was going to send me to was one, too far, and two, they would say that we would accept him, but just know that he's going to suffer a lot because of his autism. So she ended up taking me to the Christian private school for those reasons. And truth be told, it was the best choice she made for me because, my God, they helped me out so much. And I still know my teachers from elementary school to this day.
That's
and
really
because
cool.
of them, I went from Catholic to Christian. Then after that, I ended up turning from Christian to anti-theist.
Deist.
Yes. Again, I went from Christian to anti-theist to agnostic to atheist to deist. A very weird relationship with God, I know.
One day you and I are going to have to sit down and have a talk because that is an interesting stream in and of itself.
Yeah.
All right. I think we got off track for the main portion of the topic because I have a few.
Definitely. I was just going to say that myself.
All right. So I figured since I think we discussed most of it for the most part, but I figured we could go over what we thought of what other people were thinking of it. Because some people disagree with Lauren Southern or making fun of her because some are saying that she's a hypocrite for what she's doing, trying to sue the UK now. And so I figured we could go over that kind of.
I mean, wait, why would they be calling her a hypocrite?
Because she's for borders and for border control, and although that quite frankly doesn't make any sense because this has nothing to do with border control in reality.
Oh yeah, then I would say she has every right to sue the UK.
But yeah, there has been some that have been calling her a hypocrite or saying that here, I'll give you one example. I'm going to screen share a tweet from Woozy Lee. He's a
God, not him.
No. No.
Isn't that the drunk guy who's an emoji with a goatee?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God.
All right, so here we are. And this is it. TFW. You realize you're about to take legal action which could weaken a state's ability to use legislation put in place as a response to Islamic extremism because said state won't let you in to bitch about the prevalence of Islamic extremism. Fucking woo.
Okay, I got some shit to say to fucking Wasley. I doubt anybody will hear it, but god damn it, he's right on so many things. But this is a bunch of preconceived notions and false equivalences. First of all, Lauren Southern doesn't follow an abhorrent ideology. That's number one. Second of all, Lauren is part of that fucking trans country pact. What's that between Canada and the European countries? Okay.
Yeah, Commonwealth.
Yeah, Commonwealth. Okay. What's the freaking third? Third, this is based around speech, not ideology. So those are three differences. And what Woz is doing here is he's taking all three of those, saying, no, fuck it. It's the same damn thing that she's trying to do. That's disingenuous. It's dishonest. Wow, fuck him for this. God, he's right on so much that this pisses me off more because I like his videos.
Yep.
Anyone else have any thoughts on it?
I would say
You
this.
articulated that perfectly.
Yeah, I think he said it perfectly.
All right. The other tweet I had it's from a completely different person. Where is it? I think I did this one. I can't remember. Yeah, and this tweet is no longer available. Huh. Okay, well, this person right here, Jen the Libertarian. So you're going to sue because a country didn't let you in. Oh, the irony. And this is where I had to disagree, where she was saying it's ironic, and some other ANCAPs or libertarians are saying it's ironic that she's suing the country because she believes in stricter border control, and there's saying that this is border control, when in reality, I do not think this has anything to do with border control. This is just some people in the UK government, however many, wanting to restrict someone they don't like, their freedom of speech, not really necessarily keeping out someone they find actually dangerous, because if they found her dangerous, they should find Islamic extremists dangerous.
Well, you know, the way I was thinking about it, reading this, I support Blue Lives Matter. Now, if an officer blew my cousin's brains out for jaywalking and I wanted justice done, ipso facto, I can't support Blue Lives Matter then. This is the logic that these people are throwing out.
Yeah, to me, this is a personal problem I have with some ANCAPs, actually. It's like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. I'm in support of the military. Does that make me a statist? No. It to me is just fucking asinine. And what I would say to someone like Jen is this. Okay, so what would you do if you were trying to go to a country where your family lived at, but they said, no, we're not allowing you in. We think you're a terrorist. What would you do? Would you just sit there and let it be let that be okay, or would you sue? Because I know for a fact that I would sue their asses off.
What's really funny is a lot of ANCAPs, unlike me, because I follow HOP, a lot of ANCAPs are for open borders, essentially.
Yep.
So they're just trying to get after her because they don't like her. It's not because they disagree with anything that she's doing. It's because they don't personally like her.
Yeah, to me, that's gonna be. To me, they're again. I have my personal grievances when it comes to ANCAPs. Like to me, it's just yeah. I'll save that for the video I have in mind, folks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would actually say this, that when it comes to borders, when it comes to something like that, yes, a country technically has the right to keep you out of its country. It's a privilege if you want to go into it. But to say that they should is a different story. They could, but they shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And for her, like if I was her, I would actually sue them for kicking me out, for defamation, for calling me a terrorist. 2, you kicked me out for simply having a thought crime. And 3, this was a malicious act.
And the fact that it's not even being applied to actual people who are terrorists.
And I would if I wanted to, I could press a 4th charge for interrogating me.
Mm-hmm.
I just, again, when it comes to law, folks, I'm no expert when it comes to law, so please do not sue me if I give you wrong advice on the law. But I take my legal rights very seriously. I always make sure that my attorney is ready.
Well, what rights do you have in that shithole?
Yeah, that's the thing. From what I understand, the British actually tend to make fun of us because of how legalese we are.
Aren't they protesting knives now?
Oh yeah.
I mean, seriously, the
Butter
UK
knife.
is fucked. They're fucked. You can't fight a legal battle when the whole fucking system is actually against you. People on the left throw systemic they throw that word around all the time, but it's fucking ironic because you look at the UK, that is systemic. That is systemic totalitarianism, and that's fucking scary.
Yeah,
I feel bad for British people.
the person I feel bad for the most is Sargon of Akkad because he's actually one of my favorite YouTubers. And although when it comes to him calling himself a liberalist, I think of it as like, I'm okay with the word, but to me it's a bit redundant. That's a conversation for a different day. There's a reason why our founding fathers put the First Amendment to being the first, the be all and end all of rights.
Well, technically, if I can just interject, if I recall hearing from one of my professors before, the number of the amendments is not listing how important they are. But yes, it is a very important. But just wanted to have clarified that confusion.
Yeah, but that's how I view it, is like, if you're gonna make something very important, make it on the very top. Make that very clear and easy to understand, and make it where there cannot be any question.
Yeah, and the whole point is they're all irrevocable and important. And the reason they are is because they're all negative rights. They require nothing from anybody else, and there's something you inherently have as your intrinsic value as a human. Fuck words. Words are hard, but you know what I mean. You automatically get these rights just because you exist and you're free thinking. So the importance comes with them being the natural rights. And we're the only fucking country in the US that has this. Well, we're the only fucking country in the world that has this. So they just don't understand. And I might be getting off topic a little bit, but have you noticed the disconnect between British people and us?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sargon notices it, and he points it out. I would say his arguments aren't correct the way he views the differences between Americans and British people. I would say they're much more based off of the fundamental views of the individual and freedom are the main differences. But yeah, it's just funny how we can look at a British person and be like, yo, their wires are crossed.
I actually stopped watching Sargon. I refuse to watch him anymore.
Why? What's wrong with Sargi?
About maybe a month and a half ago, 2 months ago now, he did an interview with Benjamin Dixon. Benjamin Dixon is a propagandist for Black Lives Matter and an apologist for Antifa. I don't give any terrorists any airtime, and I won't give any airtime to somebody who consorts with them. He consorts with terrorists, so I don't want to watch him. So I won't watch Sargon anymore.
That's cool, dude. You do you.
Yeah, but say there were 1,000 people that were on the edge of BLM. They're like, well, it does seem like black people are just getting mowed down in the streets. And then they hear this fucking asshole talk on Sargon's screen, and they're like, holy shit, never mind. This guy is crazy. I'm going to stay clear away from him. That's 1,000 people who this fucking ridiculous radical just made come to our side, for lack of a better term.
That would have been nice, but the thing of it was it was very pleasant, the interview. It was basically, it seemed to me more like a recruitment drive. And yeah. See, the thing is this, has been saying for a long time he's a leftist. His new liberalese, or whatever the fuck he's calling it, I don't trust. As somebody who's descended from IRA, I have a very strong distrust of him. I have a distrust of his government. I have a distrust of his motivation. So I don't particularly like the son of a bitch anymore, because there's been a few things that he's done. Now I understand what he's going through with Antifa, and I appreciate that. I've gotten into a few tussles with those imbeciles myself. But that having been said, it was just he's done too much where he's talked to him, he's talked with Dave Packman, he's talked with Kyle Kalimsky, and it just seemed like the one with Kyle was one of the first ones I had doubts because it seemed to me like he could have took that fucking pigeon-headed idiot apart. I mean, Razor Fist wiped his ass with him for 2 hours. So to me, it just seemed like he was softballing these people. And it doesn't jibe with me. I didn't like it. And I'm not going to give him any of my views. That's just the way I look at it. I love this country. I put it before everything else. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let this bearded bastard undermine it. So, no, I don't watch him.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I like that part on Kyle Kalinske. I hate that mofo.
Oh, God. You have no idea.
Such a bullshitter. He's almost worse than the Young Turks, in my opinion. Because the Young Turks, they're fucking crazy, and they don't try to hide it. They're fucking crazy.
He's part of the Young Turks network. He's part of the Young Turks network. He's based out of New Rochelle, upstate New York, about a half hour outside of the Bronx. He's the Young Turks East Coast division. David Packman used to be also the Young Turks network. He was their Boston division up until about, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. For whatever reason, he split from them. David Packman, if you look into it, his father was involved with the socialist or communist movement, I forget, down in Argentina. I believe the reason the Packmans are up here now is because they got chased out of the country. Yeah, I don't trust David Packman. He's another one. He's a subversive. That's the reason I have the problem with Sargon. All three of these people are heavily subversive to trying to undermine my country. What the hell is this rich fool from across the pond doing talking with them? That's the thing I got a problem with. I don't think it's so much malicious as he's completely clueless.
Well, that's for sure. He is clueless, especially when he starts talking about the U.S.
Yeah.
All right. I think we've covered all that pretty well. Do we want to move on to the other main topics I had planned for us?
Of course, sure.
All right. We have 2 different ones, so you guys can choose which ones you think we should go over. The one was the firing of the deputy. Sorry, the FBI agent, the deputy director.
Oh,
McCabe.
Abe, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Or there was also the controversy with Andy Worski and him admitting to the fact that he stealthed a woman I think 7 years ago, did he say?
I thought Andy Worski was gay.
Like, are you serious? Like, did you legit think he was gay, or?
No, he's just a faggot.
Wait,
I legit thought he was gay. I didn't know.
You legit thought he was gay? No, dude, it's a joke.
Yeah,
that's actually been a joke.
See. Oh, I didn't know. I pointed it out to my wife. I'm like, look, they're a gay couple. I pointed at it like him and Chris Worski, and she watched it for 2 minutes, and she's like, oh, holy shit, a gay meathead couple. This is America, and she walked away. I thought they were gay meatheads. I was like, look, this is cool. They're knuckleheads, but they're gay. I was like, okay, that's cool. Because I'm used to I hate saying it, a lot of the gay community around here, you get a lot of the Will and Grace types. They walk in and they set off the smoke alarms. So I thought it was refreshing. They struck me as a gay couple that would open each other's beer with their teeth. I just thought they were cool.
Well, no,
I'm embarrassed on how long it took me to get that flamer joke.
Well, no, they're both straight. But anyways, there's that controversy with Andy Worski, or we can discuss the firing of McCabe first.
I don't know anything about what happened with Worski. I just found out now that he's straight. So
I mean, honestly,
Worski pisses me off nowadays.
Same.
So which one do you guys vote for?
Worski.
Okay, one for Worski.
I'm curious. I got to find out. I'll go with Worski.
All right. Anyone else?
All right, Worski, let's do it.
All right. Okay. Would anyone like to read it? The article?
I'll do it. I'll do the honors.
Well, actually, I figure first we probably should watch the video and then read the article.
Okay, fine.
There's a
Let's
video
not-
attached to it, so
Yeah, let's knock her out of the park then.
I actually watched it live when it happened, so I already know what's going on.
All right. So, do you want to screen share it, sir?
No, I haven't seen the video. Right wing.
Why don't
Right
I screen share it for everyone? All right. So we're gonna watch the video first that shows it, so we can get some, I guess.
YouTuber beloved by the alt-right bragged about sexually. Oh my god, you gotta be.
Yeah, I know it's right wing watch, very, very leftist, but either way, they're still a source.
This is the story I was telling. The condom was too tight, like it was hurting my dick, and she was drunk. So during the sex, I pulled my dick out. And I pulled the wrong hole. No, I pulled the condom off. No, it was like I didn't get the proper fucking Trojan one that I used to get with some random gas station ones that were so tight. I'm like, God, this is like Asian.
Oh, Worski.
I rolled it off. Then I fucked her without the condom on. I was hammered. Like I pulled it off, and she was mad at me after. She's like, "What the fuck? You pulled off the condom?" Yeah, sorry. I pulled out and everything. And then I was like, next day, I'm like, "Oh my god, what did I do?" And I went to the fucking Washington.
Well, what year did you do that in? Because that's rape today.
Yeah, scalping is illegal now.
That was probably 2000.
Say over 7 years. Over 7 years is the
And
answer.
2009 probably.
Okay, that's not. Because after
2000.
that becomes rape. Now rape.
I'm pretty sure the statute of limitations has passed, my friend.
We ended up fucking a bunch of times after that.
It doesn't matter to hashtag me too. You could have you could look what happened to Aziz Ansari. Dick in this bitch's mouth.
Fair enough. But I was 20. I was probably 20. That's 8 years or 19. I was like late teens. Like
I think I've heard enough.
halfway through.
I've heard enough for me to make a judgment.
So I guess we can first discuss the video. I guess we actually really don't need to read the article. But yeah, that's what he admitted to doing.
I'm absolutely disgusted with him. If there wasn't anything, if I had a reason to unsubscribe from him, this would be it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do it right now. I'm unsubscribing from him. Let me see. YouTube.
Anyone have thoughts they want to give?
So what? He got drunk and he couldn't get the rubber back on, so he just said "fuck it."
Yeah, from what he said, he was drunk. I don't know how drunk exactly, because, well, for one, it was so many years ago, and he probably doesn't even know how drunk he was. But yes, he says he's drunk, and he took off the condom because it was hurting his penis, I guess restricting it. And so, but he didn't let the girl know, which he should have. However, I don't know how that would work in a court of law, so I cannot say whether he would have had legal troubles if it was illegal then, and she decided to try and sue him or get him arrested or whatever. So I don't know exactly the legal aspect for it. So yeah,
I can't believe it's even a point of contention. I guess I'm just that old. The fact that
condom is the reason why it's considered sexual assault or assault is because with sperm it could have a sexually transmitted disease in it, which could even potentially kill someone or make them infertile, or
the baby yogurt can kill.
Well,
I think the main reasons why it was made illegal in most countries. And I can give you the definition of stealthing to give maybe if you wanted a better understanding exactly as to what it is. Okay.
I'll look
According
it up
to dictionary.com, stealthing is the act of removing a condom during sex without the consent of the partner. It's illegal in many countries and is a form of sexual assault.
Oh, damn. I could have a bunch of bitches arrested then, but I think my wife would skin me if I tried to press charges.
Whoa.
No, seriously. Look, not to get too personal, but if you pack the heat, the ladies tend to want to feel the meat, and they have a tendency to slide that thing off themselves a lot. So, just from my personal experience, it tends to fall on the ladies a lot more. As for them making this a crime, this is instead of them saying hashtag me too, let's be honest, I've seen some of these fucking ugly scolds. They should maybe call it hashtag I can't get none. So
Oh god.
I mean seriously, have you guys seen Anita Sarkeesian's nose? It looks like a fucking camel's dick.
I mean, isn't she Jewish?
I
Hold
don't know
on.
what she
Let me
is.
Google camel's dick real quick. 1 second. I'm just.
Oh, I'm gonna be looking.
Look, I don't even care how she prays, what part of the world she's from. She's a cunt, and that's universal. I don't particularly like her. Seriously, I mean, it's obviously this is a girl. If she was coming up to me at a bar and talking to me, and I was single, and I looked at her, I probably can guarantee you my response would be to her, "I'm gonna need at least another round. Can you give me a minute?" So.
Okay, no.
All right,
No,
but
seriously.
back to the main topic.
I wouldn't touch her with your dick.
Back to the main topic. So, what
Mhm.
do we think of what Andy Worski is admitted to doing, and what are your guys' thoughts on it? Do you think what he did was wrong? I personally think it was wrong, but I just wanted to hear everyone else's thoughts on it.
I say it's wrong. Absolutely wrong.
If he was stone sober and he like was sitting there wringing his hands maliciously, yeah, I could see it as being wrong. But this to me sounds like I hate saying this, but it sounds like he was so drunk he had to put one hand over one eye and like keep it closed so he could keep his balance and not fall off of her.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't really hold Stelton, if that's what we're calling it, against this guy if that was the situation.
If he was like so drunk that he was incapable of comprehending as to what he's doing, you mean?
Yeah, like basically, it's that if he was in a situation where he's got to go, like on the bottom missionary because he's getting the fucking spins. If it's something like that, because the way he keeps saying, "I was so drunk, I was so drunk, I was so drunk." Okay, I'll take him at his word. Maybe he was that drunk. Because the thing of it is, I mean, he even said, yeah, they had a relationship after that. He told her the next day she was pissed off. This to me sounds like one of those it's nobody's fucking business situations. No one was hurt. It sounds to me like more likely than not, she probably, if she didn't verbally lay into him, she probably smacked him in the head. This is really one of these things again where it's a bunch of overblown fat women in the corner of a library with their Twitter out, sitting there typing away, trying to ruin somebody's life. And to me, it sounds to me like it was years ago. If they bothered this woman, like they actually went and found her, she'd probably say to them, "This was over 10 years ago. Why are you here?" It just to me, it's there's more important shit that they could go after.
Mm-hmm. Understandable. Anyone else have thoughts?
I do. So this one, I'm really on edge about it because the act they are engaging in is sex. Now, as far as the condom goes, that's secondary to the actual act, which is sex. So it seems to me that if they're going to legislate this stealthing thing, then it should be separate from assault, and it should be a lesser crime. In this particular situation, I'm not a judge, but you have two parties that are having consensual drunk sex. So they're both drunk, which means they're capacity to think thoroughly is diminished. So it's almost like a consequence of engaging in sex when you're drunk, you know, a personal decision to engage in sex when you're drunk. So with this, I don't. And it was 7 years ago. She never pressed charges, and she had sex afterwards. So I don't know. Based on all of that together, I would definitely let this slide, and I wouldn't fucking write a hit piece about it. Give me a fucking break. But I definitely think it needs to be talked about on whether the condom is the number one factor in determining a sexual assault, because I believe that's where the conversation is heading.
Yeah, to me, what I wonder is this: like, why did you have to tell us that? Like one, I don't care what you do in your bedrooms. Like, I for one just find it to be absolutely disgusting when I hear people like, yeah, I've had sex, or yeah, dude, I like having sex. I don't care if you have sex. I don't care what you do in your own bedrooms. I don't care if you're gay, you're straight, or whatever. You do you, but just don't let me know. I don't want to hear that. Like, you can tell I get clearly annoyed when I hear this sort of crap.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's no secret Warski is thirsty for viewers. He's been freaking thirsty since he did those shitty ass skits when I was watching him before he merged with the anti-social justice. It's just, you run it, like, imagine how many hours a day he streams. You just get on different random tangent topics and you go for it. And nothing's off limits with that guy, apparently, nowadays, as you can see.
Yeah. We had one of my stream mates, he had one of my stream mates on last week. And now ever since she was on his stream, we've had nothing but like weirdos showing up on our streams, like saying all sorts of bizarre shit. It's actually kind of disconcerting.
But you have your own YouTube channel or something?
Yeah. My one of my stream mates was on about, I think, 2 weeks ago now on Sunday. She was debating one of those Kangs retards, you know, we was Kangs, one of them. And she was on there debating him, and he had, I guess this guy's like his pet or something, some sort of like Frenchman that's on like a lot of Quaaludes. So, yeah, so it was basically him and some sort of doped up Frenchman, my friend Weibo, and this Kang's idiot.
Weibo,
and
that sounds familiar.
Yeah, Weibo Jones. So ever since she did Warski's stream, but like sick weirdos coming onto our stream. Like a lot of like degenerates and shit saying all sorts of perverted shit in the chat.
Oh, she's always on Irate Bear streams. Huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have any thoughts, Satirical?
Yeah, I'm on the fence with this because I've actually been the victim of false reporting of rape and sexual assault, and I can kind of get that angle of it, but also I absolutely abhor the act of stealthing, and if he did this on purpose, I would definitely I would pin him to the wall. But until we hear otherwise, all I've got to work on is he was drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds to me, I agree with you. It sounds to me more than anything like he's an idiot as opposed to being a scumbag.
I mean, if that's the argument, you can still get prosecuted for doing illegal things while you're drunk.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, my response to that would be like this, like, well then, what if the person gets drunk and drives and kills someone? Are you gonna excuse them? Oh hell no. A person's life has been gone. That's something you can never bring back. The same thing, the same logic should apply here. And I would say the same logic should apply to a man and a woman. Plain and simple.
I agree on all counts. My thing is just I won't label intent. I wouldn't, just as the person who got drunk and got behind the wheel, I don't think they maniacally meant to mow down the person crossing the street. It doesn't excuse them of the crime. But the least, I'm not going to sit there and label them a villain. The same thing with Andy. If this does turn out to be a crime, he didn't mean to commit it, I'm going to say to him as we load him into the paddy wagon, yeah, it sucks, but you got to go. I won't label the man a villain. It doesn't excuse him either, though.
Yeah, that's why I personally think the best argument in his favor is sexual assault defined by use of a condom. I think that's the strongest angle just because of that. Intoxication angle won't slide usually.
Mm-hmm. All right, any other thoughts on this?
Just one really quick to close on my thoughts anyway. My concern again is like they have a thing they do here in New York where if he were to report this in New York and the girl said, well, I have no interest in pursuing it. It was consensual. You people are crazy. Get over it. New York State could turn around and say, well, we're going to white knight on her behalf and lock him up. That's my only problem with it is if that were the case, I'd like to see in any situation like this, it comes down to the quote unquote victim. I don't think that the state or the federal government, for that matter, should white knight on anyone's behalf. That's about the only thing I had to say on to close on that.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. So do we want to move now on to the McCabe being fired?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So does anyone not know exactly what happened?
I don't.
Okay. I have an article, a couple articles actually. I can read it and probably screen share. Okay. McCabe firing was required because the FBI must have zero tolerance for lying under oath. And if I recall, yeah, he lied under oath. I guess we can watch this video. It probably will explain some stuff. Oops, hold on. I turned off the volume earlier. Stupid online video things. Can't they just use YouTube?
Said to be worth $1 million 5 hours from now at 12:01 Sunday morning. But now it's gone. He was just fired before 10 p.m. tonight. In a statement, the Attorney General Jeff Sessions wrote, and I quote, "The Department's Office of the Inspector General provided its report on allegations of misconduct by Andrew McCabe to the FBI's Office of Professional Responsibility. The FBI's OPR then reviewed the report and underlying documents and issued a disciplinary proposal recommending the dismissal of Mr. McCabe. As the OPR proposal stated, quote, all FBI employees know that lacking candor under oath results in dismissal and that our integrity is our brand. Based on the report of the Inspector General, I have terminated the employment of Andrew McCabe effective immediately." Not taking quietly in his own statement tonight, he's fighting back as well he should because he is no doubt worried about criminal prosecution. He writes, quote, "For the last year and a half, my family and I have been the targets of an unrelenting assault on our reputation and my service to this country. Articles too numerous to count have leveled every sort of false, defamatory, and degrading allegation against U.S. presidents. Tweets have amplified and exacerbated it all. The president called for my firing. The OIG's focus on me, and this report became part of an unprecedented effort by the administration, driven by the president himself to remove me from my position, destroy my reputation, and possibly strip me of a pension that I worked 21 years to earn. The accelerated release of the report and the punitive actions taken in response makes sense only when viewed through this lens. This attack on my credibility is one part of a larger effort, not just to slander me personally, but to taint the FBI, law enforcement, and intelligence professionals more generally." So, Ed, what do we have here? We have a mess. Whatever divisions existed between the two parties in Congress will likely grow deeper now, with Republicans calling for a second special counsel. It complicates the mission of the first special counsel and sets up competing prosecutions, with Mueller potentially being investigated by a second counsel, whomever that may be, if it happens. It does buy Attorney General Jeff Sessions some time. It had been rumored that his head was on Trump's chopping block. This may have spared it. Absolutely vital to any resolution of this war is the public release of the IG report which sparked this firing. It's expected to be released any day now. Inspector General Michael Horowitz is respected, known to be thorough and fair, and longtime analysts say there must be more in that report that is yet undisclosed, further damaging evidence of McCabe's wrongdoing to have resulted in such a punitive outcome, his loss of that 21-year-long pension. Ed?
Doug, remarkable. Let's just walk through the context a little bit, because Andrew McCabe was not just any random FBI official, FBI agent. This is someone, as you say, at the department, well over 20 years, very senior, and was overseeing the Hillary Clinton email investigation and has been accused, at least, of being favorable to Hillary Clinton at a time when his own wife was running for state office, as you know, in Virginia, and got hundreds of thousands of dollars from a PAC controlled by Terry McAuliffe, then the sitting governor, who was very close to the Clintons.
It was $700,000, in fact. It's an awful lot of money for a state Senate race in the state of Virginia. But Andrew McCabe has been a central figure in so many FBI investigations dating back to the Benghazi attack. He was central in that. The Clinton investigation, the Clinton Foundation investigation, the Russian collusion investigation. He is a central player. And there have been concerns among Republicans on Capitol Hill that he was a political figure. It's not just his failure to acknowledge at the early juncture that his wife was a politico, taking those kinds of contributions from a very close Clinton ally, but that he was politically motivated in other ways too, and we suspect that might come out in the IG report. That's why this IG report is so key, and why the scrupulousness of Michael Horowitz and the vaunted neutrality of Michael Horowitz is going to weigh very, very heavy in whatever this IG report has to say.
The Inspector General of the Justice Department, a lot of people waiting for that report. Maybe we got the first taste of it tonight. Doug McKell.
All right. Everyone got it?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what do you guys think?
That's not a surprise. The FBI, we know they lie about everything. They lie about a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And they lied for Hillary Clinton when we knew for a fact that there was damning evidence against her. And the fact that this person's bitching about losing, about his reputation being ruined. No, get the fuck out of here, you know?
FBI is as crooked as a country road. Everyone knows that.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the evidence that he lied under oath? What are they talking about there?
He lied to the I think it was the I forget some high up government official, I believe. I forget who. Anyways, it was shown that he lied to he lied about he lied about a few things, if I recall, actually. Let me go back to the article.
So long as that's true, and Mueller's staying, right? Mueller's still investigating?
I believe so.
So if those two things stay true, I don't see a fucking problem with this firing. It seems legitimate if those two things hold true.
Part of the thing that they're all up in arms over is he's basically they think that if anything goes down in this and he gets indicted because of all his connections to Clinton, they think that he'll basically do to them. He'll finish what the hell is his name? He used to be one of my representatives, Weiner. He'll finish off the damage that Weiner started, basically. So I think that's basically what they're
Wait,
the
who's
main
worried
concern
about
is.
it? Who's worried about it?
Well, right now the Democratic Party, specifically here in New York, the New York Democratic Party. I know this because my wife's a Democrat, and basically, so is her whole family. My brother-in-law actually ran for assemblyman here in Long Island, so I pretty much have like the inside track with these folks. The thing is, Huma Abedin and Weiner basically, they really cause a lot of problems for them because there's a lot of shit that they're still investigating because there's they're still going through all of their information, and more stuff is coming out. And it's like how they keep saying, you know, every week or two, more emails come out. You know, the trickle has slowed down a lot, but they still every once in a while they're finding more and more stuff. So they have all of that. So now that they have that evidence, if they indict McCabe, that evidence can be used against him too, because like they just said with the thing with his wife, now he's connected to this completely. So yeah, it's not looking too good for our boy McCabe there.
So the reason I'm confused is I didn't get to watch all of Ben Shapiro's podcast today, but when he mentioned it, actually it was a clip. Ben Shapiro was with that sniveling fat fuck. What's his the bald guy looks like a thumb on CNN.
Brian
Seltzer.
Yeah, Seltzer. That's it, Seltzer. Brian Seltzer.
Yeah, so Ben was talking to him, and Shapiro made it seem like this was sketchy that Trump was firing him. So Ben Shapiro's right 90% of the time, in my opinion. So it's not very likely he said that from an unfounded position. I just need to know what his position is and why it's sketchy.
It's very a big no-no, because I know someone who was a family member who was in the FBI once. They have told me that it's a very big no-no to lie in the FBI, especially if you're a higher up person. It's very not liked, and if you are found to have lied at all, you will be fired. Especially if you're a lower FBI agent. If you're just a low on the totem pole, you'll be kicked out right away.
I actually have a bit of a problem with Ben Shapiro. Last week I wrote something to him on his on the Daily Wire in the chat. I wrote a question to him and he actually deleted it. My question was, I asked him, because he was ripping apart the president about tariffs, I asked him what his background was in economics, because what he was saying was making no sense, and I asked for a point of clarification, and they actually deleted my comment. He's very good. Shapiro's very good, but I've noticed a few things I've had. One, he has a very open bias against Trump. He does not like the president. Even when he said at CPAC that, you know, he was when he starts saying about, oh yeah, Trump's president, I'm looking at him like, you lying bastard, because he makes it clear he does not like the man. That having been said, I don't want to say so much it colors his bias, but he looks at Trump as a very odious man. So he always sees the worst in him. I'm not saying it's intentional, but I think that he does see the worst in the man a lot. And he does not, Trump is guilty until proven innocent with Shapiro. That's the one thing with him. But I'm not so sure that I could agree with him. I'd have to see the clip. If you could actually send it to me when I link you to my Discord, if you could send it to me, I want to look at it. Because I don't know if I can agree with his assessment. I'd have to see the key points that he points out to see. He may be right and I may be wrong. It is very likely, but I'd like to see it myself.
Yeah, me too, because it didn't go into that very deeply, because Ryan Stelter, of course, was trying to get gotchas. But yeah, I need to know what his argument was, because he has been wrong before to me too. I kind of disagree with your assessment as far as Trump. I think he's pretty fair with Trump, and Trump does try to step on every rake that is put in his path.
That is true.
So yeah, he doesn't like him, but I also think he tries to check his bias as much as he can. What was that other point I was going to do? Oh, the economics thing. Basically his background is whatever has come from Thomas Sowell, Milton Friedman, George Gilder, Henry Hazlitt, and Adam Smith. That is his known reading list. So his things on tariff was ultimately the consumers going to foot the bill for the tariffs.
Right. But my question to him was, all that was said was there was a tariff on steel. My question to him was, you're assuming it's a blanket tariff. What I mean by a blanket tariff is all steel coming into the country falls under the stipulation of the tariff Trump was going to impose. From what my understanding of it was it wasn't a blanket tariff. It was just a tariff on raw goods that were going to fall under the 25% stipulation. Manufactured goods would fall under a smaller tariff. I believe things such as like automobiles would be as low as 8%. Might even be lower as far as I know. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but that was my question to him was I wouldn't think that Trump was going to. Everyone just immediately assumed that the man was talking blanket tariffs. I don't particularly think that that's what he was doing myself. Only from watching, I actually had referred to the video of him in '91 when he addressed Congress. If you watch it, it's an old C-SPAN clip. It's about an hour and 55 minutes long. He basically gave them the blueprints that the Clintons used in his first term to actually help fix the economy. They actually utilized a lot of the key points that Trump outlined. So I think that a lot of these people who have been talking about the thing with tariffs didn't even look into the plan as he had outlined it. I mean, what I recall when Shapiro was talking about the tariffs, Trump had just made the announcement within a few hours before. I think it was a lot of it was shooting from the hip on his point. If it did fall under the purview as he was outlining it, he would be correct. But I think he was jumping the gun. That's what I had put in the comment section, and that's what he deleted.
Okay, so at the very least, I could concede the ground that they made it out to be a whole lot bigger than it was. But
right, mountains and molehills.
Yeah, as far as the principles, a tariff's a tariff, a tariff. It's the same principles apply whether. Now the scope of it, yeah, I agree. If he was misleading on that, I'll jump to your side real quick.
Yeah, well, it's more along the lines of I will concede the fact he is doing a huge daily show, not to mention his speaking tour, and also he is reading copy that's being handed to him, and he's opining on the copy. So I can't really lay too much fault at Shapiro's feet, as in so much as was the Daily Wire thorough and not so much Shapiro, because again, it is an organization, so I can lay the blame more so much with the Daily Wire as I can with Shapiro. I'd rather look at it that way. There was something I was going to say. It was actually a caveat to all this that we were going on about. Fuck it, I'm dominating the stream at this point. I'm sorry.
No problem, man. No problem.
All right, I figured we could go back to finishing up the whole McCabe thing. Anyone else have thoughts on that? Yes?
Great. Now I lost my train of thought.
Oh,
it's contagious.
Stupid ads. Hold on. Okay, it's gone now. When I open articles, the stupid ads that pop up and just ugh. Okay, so do you remember what your train of thought was going to be?
Yes. If he's when it comes to McCabe, I'm actually okay with him being fired.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're like, dude, just get the fuck out. Honestly, like you're a liar. You knew what you did. I just don't want to hear it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd agree. All right. Any other thoughts? Satirical, you have anything to say?
If you're going to lie on record, you need to be prepared to get fired.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was what I've heard, although I'd have to look to be sure, but I heard that when all this was going down, because he knew he was going to get fired, and so he suddenly applied to retire because he was 49, and I was told that you normally people, FBI agents, retire at the age of 50, and he suddenly, I guess, applied to retire with his retirement. And so that's another thing that kind of goes against him, I think.
Yeah, he's seen the writing was on the wall. Again, it all comes back to when. Look, from what I understand, Wiener cut some sort of a deal. He's doing his time in a minimum security. He was looking at they were going to throw the book at him. He gave them something good. The minute that Wiener goes through the system, all of a sudden this guy turns around and puts in for his retirement. It's all, I hate saying it sounded like the old phone company commercial, but it's all connected. It really is. You do I hate saying it like this, you do 6 degrees of separation, you're going to hit Hillary Clinton with all of this shit. And that's what it all comes down to. And you get Clinton, you get into the heart of it with the Democratic committee. And that's what I think a lot of this country doesn't want to look at. I mean, I noticed something the other day. I was looking at something, and it was something that had happened with Sean King. He had been advocating for this black guy down in I think it was down in like the Carolinas or something. He beat this white supremacist with a mag light, and they found that he wasn't guilty because Sean King did a lot of rainmaking on it. So I looked at something. I just, my instincts kicked in, and I decided to look on Sean King's Twitter. And it leads you to Sean King's own website, and it's amazing how precocious these celebrities are. They have so many websites. But I looked on Sean King's website, and it has the listing for his talent agency that represents him. And if you look at this talent agency, every single one of their clients either was wearing one of those stupid pink pussy hats, or cut one of those commercials to get people to vote against Trump, all those celebrities, or the ones where they were trying to get the Electoral College to vote against Trump. It's all the same fucking company. They represent Sean King. They represent all of Black Lives Matter. It's all the same company. Now, to me, I don't know how else to put this. Doesn't that sound like organized subversion? Insurrectionism? It sounds to me like insurrectionism. I mean, they basically put out celebrity-endorsed videos trying to subvert our electoral process and overturn it. And now this guy is our courts to overturn verdicts. To me, it all sounds very subversive. So my thing is this. How many of these people can you tie? Because if you look at all, like when Harvey Weinstein, when the shit hit the fan with him, holy shit, how many people had pictures with Harvey Weinstein? My question is this. Why don't you guys look in and type in Andrew McCabe in Google image search and in Bing and in Yahoo and whatever else and see who you pull up pictures of him with? That's the question that you guys should look at, because you type in Sean King, you should see all the people that he's in pictures with.
To me,
you could do that with a lot of people. Like the sheriff from Parkland, he has a picture of him with Hillary. So,
again, right. You may sound like a conspiracy theorist to these leftists, but in reality, you actually make more sense than not.
Well, when they say, well, that sounds like you said, it sounds like a conspiracy. Okay, where were these pictures taken? Who else was there? This is called journalism. This is what I tell them. This is how we break it down. Because then you find out that all these pictures were taken at a certain spot, at a certain place for a certain person. Why were they there? Who were they raising the money for? Where was the money coming from? Follow the money. This is when the leftists start foaming at the mouth and screaming racist and all sorts of shit at me. Because they don't like it when you start to dig for the truth. The truth of the matter is this. These fucking morons all thought for years that they were going to take over this country, that they were going to sit there and lead us around by the collective dick. And the country turned around and said, fuck you, and elected Trump, and now they're panicking. What you're seeing here with McCabe, if he goes down in the next 2 years, you're going to see such a panic between now and the 2020. If they don't get any, which they're not, if they don't get any of the numbers they think they're going to get in 2018, holy shit, wait till you see what's going to happen after November. If McCabe does get, if they don't get any of the numbers they think they're going to get in 2018, and McCabe gets indicted, mark my fucking words, you're going to see some shit you thought when Trump got elected that this country went nuts. No, that ain't nothing. Their back will be against the wall at this point.
It'll be wonderful.
Yeah.
The way you say it, like it'll be wonderful, makes it sound kind of rapey,
dude. I would fap to the destruction of the Democratic Party.
Oh, you have no idea. That's why I have this avatar. Let me tell you guys something. I got injured working for New York State as a New York State employee. What part of my job was delivering the solar panels for the EPA. Do you know what my fellow state employees did the whole time we were delivering them?
What?
They laughed their ass off because the supervisors cut us in on what a scam it was. That's the thing with these Democrats. This is the reason I don't like these motherfuckers. I worked at a Teamster shop, and I would get pulled to the side like, listen, Scooby, we have to have a talk with you. Okay, what's the matter? You know, you're working too much. It's making the rest of us look bad. Do yourself a favor, go up the block and get a sandwich. Take a break. I was working too much, so I was getting disciplined because I was working too much for what they had. Look, listen, this job is supposed to last 3 days. If you keep working at this pace, it's going to get done in 1 day. Go sit down in the truck for an hour. Go read a magazine. Shit? Yeah. Teamsters. I was on a Teamster. That was for New York State, and they had the Teamsters running the shop. This is what I was told. Go sit down. Take a break. You're working too hard. You're going to finish the job, and we're not going to have work for the next 2 days. You're going to fuck us, so you have to go take a break.
Oh, that's some shit right there. By the way, I want to clarify. I meant metaphorical destruction. Nothing weird.
Yeah, I hear you saying. But I want them. I wish nothing but obscurity on them. Fuck them. I want them to fade into the history books.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Hey, dude, I wouldn't blame you. I really wouldn't. Because I found out the other day. I just found out the other day that I'm.
I just want to interrupt for just a sec. I'll be right back. I have to go do something really quickly.
Pizza.
Actually, yes, it is pizza.
Oh.
So I'll be right back in maybe 5 minutes.
Papa John's pizza.
Oh.
All right, I'll be back.
I wish you would have been right that it's Papa John's pizza. Anyways, believe me, dude, I feel you. I'm the exact same way. Like if when it comes to people when it comes to someone like Hillary Clinton, if she were to die, I wouldn't be happy, but I definitely would not be crying either. You know, like I wouldn't wish death to anyone. Except, you have to be a real piece of shit if I have to say, yeah, I'm glad you're dead. You have to be Fidel Castro levels of piece of shit if I'm happy you're dead.
She's pretty much up there.
She's up there.
Yeah.
She is. She definitely is, but...
She just didn't have the power to do what he did.
Look at Sweden. Look at France. Look at Germany. Look at London. Everything that's happened since she did that in Libya, it's all her fault. The destruction of Western civilization is all her fault. I don't want her executed. I want them to use her instead of bunny rabbits for animal testing.
Ooh, crap. Okay. But yeah, I found out the other day that it was because of the Democrats is the reason why we lost Vietnam.
Yes.
Militarily speaking, we didn't lose.
Yes, so you're correct.
The argument that people say that, oh well, you can't have several small militaries going up against one big military. That is true. Look at Vietnam. No, dude. Militarily speaking, we won. It was because of the Democrats is why we lost.
We had the 1-for-1 rearmament with them.
We lost more troops at Gettysburg fighting each other than we did in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yes. Is it Papa John's? Is it Papa John's pizza? Oh, damn it. Little Caesars?
Oh, God. Please tell me it's not Little Caesars.
Yeah, have some respect for yourself.
I mean, dude, I just love food. I'm always hungry. Then again, that should be no surprise because I'm an athlete. I'm always running and I'm always swimming. But to me, pizza is pizza.
I guess I got a bit of a bias on that myself, but best pizza in the world.
Got that New York deep dish, or is that Chicago?
Chicago has the deep dish. We got the thin crust here.
Yeah, I can confirm that. When I was in New York, I got a thin slice of pizza and I looked at the waitress like, "Are you serious?" Like like I didn't say that because I didn't want to be rude, but I looked at her as like, "Are you fucking serious? This thin ass crust of pizza. This is all you got. I can get a thicker set of pizza over there in LA. And I hate LA. Fuck LA.
Bet that pizza was delicious though.
It was good, which that did make me eat my words a bit. But still, like, come on, if you're gonna give me pizza, make it thick, you know?
Yeah. Well, a lot of us, I say us because my father was from he was born in Brooklyn, but his parents came through Ellis Island from Corleone, Sicily. So when I was a boy, I grew up around all that stuff. They don't actually eat pizza.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, pizza's an American word. It's what we call it is abits. What that literally means is pie. Like my father, may he rest in peace. His favorite was abitagin. We would have abitagin, and the other one that he liked was abita scarol.
Are you Italian?
No, half Sicilian.
Ah.
Yeah, my father was Sicilian. My mother's Irish. But I grew up around it, and yeah, his favorite thing was he would get a pizza guina de pesce, which is basically pizza stuffed with fish, and not normal fish either. They eat like squid and octopus and snail. I always say Sicilian people eat what people in hentai fuck. Basically.
I'm sorry.
God damn, take your albuterol. Holy
Oh my god. Oh my god, you know, it's the fucked up part. The fucked up part is that I've actually eaten a lot of foods in my life. Like, I've been to Peru, I've been to Mexico, and I can say I have eaten some things. Like, I've eaten octopus, I've eaten live octopus, I've eaten scorpions, I've eaten snake. I have like anything that you would think, like, yeah, that looks fucking gross. Like,
you ate a helium balloon and choked on it with that fucking laugh.
Like, you ever see a conch shell, the big snail you hold to your ear?
Yeah.
That's scongili. We would have that for dinner.
Ugh.
Yeah. It looks like an elephant foreskin and it tastes like a used tire. That's basically what it is. On Friday, it was either scongil, which is snail, palopo, which is octopus, galamad, which is squid. My father's favorite thing on Friday was mussels marinara de puttanesca de fra diavolo, which basically means mussels in a red horse sauce from the devil. Puttanesca means horse sauce. What that meant was the prostitutes. If you ever hear the term, the fastest way to a man's heart is through his stomach, that's actually a Sicilian saying. The puttana, which was the whore, would literally put the sauce up next to the window and let it cook, and the men would smell the sauce cooking, and they'd come there, because in Sicily, you didn't just go there and get laid, you got a full meal.
Wow.
So
they'd come there, and then they'd come there.
Yeah, basically. There was actually there was a thing. A lot of men in Sicily. There was a problem that actually a lot of prostitutes have. There was some men that they had impotence, and the prostitute didn't find out till after they were done eating all the food they made that they weren't there to fuck. They snuck in to eat.
I mean, it had to be really good pussy, really good food, if they wanted to ignore the pussy.
Oh yeah. That's part of the reason that we have a lot of marriage strife in the community, because sometimes the men are spending they're spending more time in the kitchen than they are in the bedroom. But seriously.
That's oh god, you have no idea. Oh god, you have no idea how much I want to say to the women, like, you know, the men are doing a better job than you in the kitchen. You need to catch up.
That is a very big thing culturally here, though. Everything is built around food. It is very big with them. Yeah.
Yeah, that is something I like about food. Like, God, now the discussion of food is making me hungry. When it comes to food, for example, when I went to Italy, you bet your ass I wanted to eat as much crap in my mouth. I wanted to put it. I just want, like, whenever I saw food, I just thought I want it in my mouth. For example, I had octopus.
Mm-hmm.
I had octopus in pasta, which to me that sounded rather normal because I've had weirder things in my mouth. But what threw me off was they put oil. They put oil in it, like octopus ink on it. It's like, why the hell would they put that on there?
It is a flavor.
I thought, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. Turns out I found it to be delicious. Now I had pizza in Italy and France, and I gotta say, oh my god, it is better. It is superb in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out, like, yeah, this is actually the poor man's food over here. It's like,
yeah, it's a poverty dish. That's why I was saying we don't eat it. That's like if you're poor, you eat that. It was one of the things that, like, was I hate saying it. My relatives used to laugh at Americans for eating that shit. You know, they'd sit there and they'd say to me all the time. They used to call me pachota. It's a slang term. It means like a little one, like little nugget of joy or some shit. But yeah, they were weirdos. But they used to say to me, they'd be like, pachota, why do you want to eat that horrible American food? Something good that your mother is making. May he rest in peace, Uncle Dominic. He used to call it, what it translates to in English is what the pigs eat.
Wow.
That's what I actually did not. I wasn't allowed to eat American food as a boy. Now, understand something. My father was ex-Navy, and he was a firm believer. He always said, if you don't eat in this house, as long as it falls under the stipulations of the Department of the U.S. Navy, it's good food. That's how the man was. But we weren't like, I did not. I'll never forget it. I went over a friend's house. I was about maybe 27 or 28 years old, and you know, I'm at the house, and like the mother puts the food in front of us on the table, and I'm looking at it, and his girlfriend says to me, she's like, Scooby, you don't like pierogies? And I go, oh, that's what it is. And so they all look at each other. They're like, you've never had a pierogi? I go, no, I've never had. I explained to them. I said, we only eat Sicilian food in my house. I've never had this before. The first time I had Taco Bell, I think I was in driver's ed.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, we weren't allowed to eat it. Like, my father was very strict. The only fast food that we were allowed to get was Wendy's because Dave Thomas was honest. That's just how my father was. So I really didn't have American food when I was a kid.
Interesting.
Yeah.
To me,
guys, I hate to interrupt. I gotta take off.
Yeah, same here. I gotta bounce.
Okay. Bye, Ferg.
See you later.
We'll probably be ending in just a sec here. So actually, we probably could end it right here, the stream. If you guys want to say your closings.
I'll give mine first. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sir Conservatarian. It was a pleasure being on here with you, Rational Outlaw. It was a pleasure talking with you, Scooby, the Satirical, and Ferg. I hope I can do this again in the future.
Cool. All right, Ferg.
And I'm Ferg. You can find me at The World from Ferg on YouTube. I don't upload very often, but there's plenty of content to go through. Oh, yeah. I should probably mention I have a YouTube channel. Subscribe to it.
All right. Satirical.
Had fun being on and like do it again.
All right. And Scooby?
I'm Scooby331. You can follow me on Minds, YouTube, GabAI, Patreon, and I am back on Twitter as not Scooby331 after being banned for 10 years. I don't know what I did, but they threw me off. I have 2 videos I'm actually going to be uploading as soon as I hop off this stream. I got to get my wife's cell phone away from her. I went today to the George Washington Slept Here house at Sagta Coast Manor. because ironically enough, where the Colonial Army slept across the street is now a dog park. So I went and filmed where the Colonial Army was today and a little bit of Sag to Coast Manor. I'll be putting those up later. And the last thing I have to shill really quick, because I know you're ending the stream, is next Saturday I will be at the March for Safe Spaces, or whatever they're calling that, for the Second Amendment that these snowflakes are having. I'm actually going to the one at SUNY Farmingdale, and I will be sticking a camera in Congressman Peter King's face and asking him questions. So that's what I have coming up this week as far as videos.
Cool.
Godspeed to you.
All right.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun streaming with you guys. This was cool.
Right.
Rational, thank you for having me.
All right, and I'll just say my little closing. All right, you've been watching RNN Live. I'm your host, Rational Outlaw. Thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all later.